Yeah. All right, there's the magic number. We'll go ahead and get started. This is the Alburnett City Council meeting for Thursday, April 11th, 2019 at 7 p.m. We'll go ahead and get things started. I'll go ahead and call it to order, and I'm going to go ahead and modify the agenda for this evening. I see we have our Deputy Sheriff here from Lynn County. I'm going to go ahead and move you to the top of the agenda, sir. You can go ahead and recognize you now.
So, thank you. We had 36 calls for service, did 102 and a half hours out of fired 43.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. 102 hours. Very good. Thank you. The council, you've had an opportunity to take a look at this. Any questions about the report as submitted?
No.
All right, very good. Anything else for us, Deputy Norman?
I don't think so.
All right, very good. Thank you for coming in. Have a safe evening.
Thanks.
All right, having the deputies report, we'll go ahead and go back to the normal order of the agenda here in the city of Alburnett. We do the Pledge of Allegiance. I will go ahead and lead us in the pledge. We have our virtual flag here plus the one behind us. I'm going to go ahead and face this one so we can keep everything on the camera nice to see. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, our city clerk is out at training this evening, so our public works director is acting as city clerk as well. So I'll go ahead and ask that the roll call be called to establish a quorum.
Councilor Trump.
Here.
Councilor Shantz.
Present.
Councilor Sarrazin.
Here.
Councilor Minson.
Present.
Councilor Henderson absent.
Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum to conduct business for this evening. All right, the agenda has been submitted. Are there any changes or edits to the agenda at this time, acting clerk?
Nope.
Then I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Sarrazin.
Second.
Second by Minson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 5 is the sheriff's report. It's already been submitted, and we'll move on to number 6, which is the mayor's report. I'm going to defer my biggest topic item since it's an item on the agenda, which is an update on the fire department. The other items that I have, I do want to do some thank yous to the folks that were involved again last month with our open house and some of the other things that they followed up on. Also to our clerk who is gone and the folks that were involved in our audit. That was a lot of work. We certainly appreciate that. And to Public Works, I know you're going to cover it again, but what you've done with the roads and keeping everything maintained as best we can. I know we still got a little bit more work to do, so that's all I have. The other items I'll cover as they come up. That said, we'll move on to the council reports, and we'll go to the left. Councilman Minson.
Why you put me on the spot?
Yeah. Oh, we can go to the right. Councilman Trump. All right. Chester, anything?
Yes, I attended the exit debrief of our audit that we had, and I feel like we had a good audit. The auditor said that our people had everything lined up. They were very cooperative and helped in the audit. And I guess we don't really have any issues. They would like us to have more, what do I want to say here, more policies or whatever as to how we do things, more procedures. And I feel that's kind of a two-bladed sword. You have a procedure, and if it's very complicated or long, why then the next time around they nail you because you're not following your procedure. So we're doing it, and we could write a one-line procedure.
Sure.
It would cover all of them, I think. And the other thing that was mentioned is that we need to do our transfers
Yes.
more prudently or more timely, I guess, be a better term. And I think that's the situation with Julie. We weren't sure how to do it, and we didn't want
Yeah, I think if you folks recall, when I came in as mayor, we did year by year, as we talked about some of our priorities, and in this year, this calendar year, we'd split it up to where top priority, of course, is the fire station construction and getting that done, but also in the second part of this year, we looked at updating our policy manual, and they were aware of that. We covered it with them, and this is, in that conversation we had in that debrief was, in your policy manual, then you might want to cover these items that you could have policy on. So we were very receptive to them. They were extremely nice, very helpful, and very helpful with the clerk too, and guiding her in the right direction on some of the stuff that we needed. So certainly we need to cover that, and we'll get that taken care of when we move on to the policy manual here in late June, early July. So other comments?
No, that's all that I had.
Councilman Saracen.
Nothing this month.
All right, this ought to be good. You've had a moment to think.
I actually had it planned before, but I remember the previous complaint of starting on the rights. Anyway, great job on the fire grill. Raised some funds, now we just 99 more to go.
Very good. All right, having the council reports done there, we'll move on to citizen comments here in the city of Alburnett. We have two types of comments from citizens. Well, the first type is agenda items. If you have comments that you'd like to make on anything on agenda items, you can go ahead and do that at this time. I'd ask that you state your name and address clear for the record. You'll have up to 5 minutes to make any comments you'd like to the council. And we'll go ahead and do those at this time. These are for agenda items.
I'm on the agenda, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be covered at the time you're on the agenda. But you can make comments now if you wish to do so also. We're always happy
I'll
to hear
wait till
from
my turn's up because I'm going to be on a roll.
you. All right, very good. And then we also have make time for folks that like to make their comments for items that are not on the agenda. So if you attended and didn't have an opportunity to review it prior to getting to the meeting. So if you have any comments you'd like to make for non-agenda items, this is the time to do that. Again, state your name and address clearly for the record. You have up to 5 minutes to give any comments to the council. Okay, seeing none, then we'll go ahead and move on to item number 9, which is the written reports. The first one on here is from the fire department. It's in your packet. We've had an opportunity to go ahead and review those. I'll go ahead and recognize our fire chief, Chief Graham. Do you have any other comments you'd like to make?
The only thing I forgot to put on your thing is the Easter egg hunt is this Saturday
Okay.
at the market complex at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock this morning.
Yep.
I'm not going to keep calling you acting clerk guy. Would you make a note of that so we can get that on our Facebook page as well?
1 o'clock
1 o'clock.
Sunday,
Yep.
Saturday.
Saturday.
or Saturday, excuse me.
If that's already on, is that on your
That's
Facebook
on
page?
our
We can
Facebook.
we can just reshare it. Very good. And the food was excellent, by the way. All right. Any questions for the fire chief? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on to the public works report. Go ahead and recognize you guys.
Yeah, I think it pretty much says it all, except I forgot to change the date, as was pointed out. It's not January, thank goodness. We're done with that. Other than that, I don't have anything to add. Any
Yep.
questions?
You have the report in your packet there, council. Any questions for Guy? Okay, seeing none there, then I assume that you're doing the, answering any questions for the city clerk report also. That's in there. It has some more details on the audit that we were referring to earlier. Any further comments from you then in reference to the city clerk's report?
Danielle wanted me to let you know that the nuisance abatement is very close. Letters are ready, almost ready to be sent out. The attorney is still looking at language about dangerous buildings. There's some buildings that don't have windows in them, they're covered with plywood, etc. So we're getting clarification there. We've already got letters ready to go. I think there's an example of the abandoned junk car and junk one in your packet. And there's also a list of the addresses that we plan on sending nuisance abatement letters to. So that will be coming. The timing will probably be such that anyone who wants to contest their abatement or ask for more time to get cleaned up can do so at next month's meeting. In other words, we'll try and send them out a couple weeks ahead of the meeting. That way we don't have to they don't have to come and request a special meeting to address this within the time frame that we give them. We're trying to make it as convenient as we can. Maybe no one will do that, but just trying to, timing-wise, that's what we're shooting for.
Let me say two things about nuisance abatement, and the council can make their own comments on it. But for me, speaking as mayor, I think the beautification of the city is extremely important. I would like to see that done to the letter of the ordinance and enforced to the letter of the ordinance. Secondly, I would also like to see it handled with as much time and compassion as we can as far as getting it done. If folks need time to get it done, make sure that we handle it that way, as far as that. I'm not saying you personally, I'm saying in the clerk's conversations, since those conversations take place all the time, whereas we meet monthly, I want to make sure folks have as much time as necessary when we have our conversations with legal and so on and so forth. But I would like to see those letters go out timely and taken care of, please. And I'd be open to any comments from council on that as well. Any other items from the clerk's report?
Nope, I don't believe that's it. That's the one she wanted me to bring up. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, then that takes us to item number 10, which is approval of the consent agenda. Is there any changes to the consent agenda? Additions, subtractions?
There are bills added. You have a copy of all those invoices there. There was $25 to Iowa State University for some fire training for the chief, I believe. More bills for bunker gear that came in, helmets and boots. The helmets were $1,648.40. Boots were $2,144.05. The MSA bill that came in late, it didn't come in late. We wanted clarification on some of the items on that bill, and we got those today. This is the engineering that they've done for the culvert replacement and the sanitary sewer extension that we'll talk about later, $3,212. And WebCare is Mike Givens, that's his fee, $200 for transferring all of our software and files to the new computer, and $20 for a hard drive enclosure. He's going to pull the hard drive out of the old computer, put in this enclosure so it can be accessed anytime if there's material not transferred to the new one, so we can still have access to it. So that explains the $220. So those are the late or extra bills not on the claims list.
Council, any questions about the addition of bills?
You got some I can sign, guys, for the record.
I'm not sure how she does that. No, some of these came in, I don't know what copy you want to sign. So, all these late ones?
Yeah, just the late ones.
Yeah, I'll get them.
Well, we don't have, not right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I've got them all set aside, I'm pretty sure, yep.
Any issue with approving the addition?
We have no checks printed for those yet either, because they came in after Danielle had left. Most of these did, so we've got no checks printed either.
So I can sign.
You can sign them when
Same time I sign the checks.
when she processes them, yeah.
Okay.
Have a question? All right, hearing no other questions, then I'd seek a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Saracen, second by Trum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Move on to item number 11, which is the new business. The first one there is the special event permit application for the clinic. The application is in your packet. Have an opportunity to review that. Do we have anyone to speak for this? Okay, we have had an opportunity to go ahead and review this application. We looked at it the other day as well when I had an opportunity to be up here. The portions look good as far as the mapping and the application itself. I don't have a ton of questions about this. I'm sure the council may have some for themselves, but I would like to know at least a little bit about your security plan and what that's going to look like. It does shut off some of the portions of the roadway there and things like that, and you checked quite a few of the options here, so if you just cover that for us, that would be great, or anything else you want to add.
It won't just be appointed security. We're looking at either
different security companies or Lynn County, of course, being the more expensive option, obviously, but, I mean, it just really weighing it out, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it won't just be appointment security, so.
Okay, but you have a security plan in place? If you need it. All right,
Yep.
very good. Council, you have questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, will you be sure to notify the sheriff that you're gonna block the street off?
Absolutely.
Yes.
If you would, please.
Yep.
And the other thing that I gotta bring up that I just found out, insurance-wise, someone's gonna have to own this event. In other words, someone, like when we have benefit day, the Diamond Club owns that event, and so they buy that liability policy in case somebody falls off the trailer, off the stage, or whatever. However that works out for you, I would say before the council can approve this, we need to see, we're gonna have to see not just
Right.
the bar's liability, you know, won't cover that. It's
Right,
gonna have to
sure.
be an
And I
event
think that'll
policy, so
Probably fall on us because other than us, you know, it's a group of guys between Alburnett and Center Point that are doing this, so they really don't have.
Right,
So
right.
that'll most likely fall on us.
That's what I'm saying, there's
Yeah.
probably gonna have to be a policy taken out for the
Yeah,
event.
that's fine.
And you guys are gonna wanna have that before you approve this, so.
We discussed this the other day, there was a certificate of insurance though that was coming with this, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's their own, just their
Right.
liability, yeah, so
Right.
before you probably shouldn't make an approval on this tonight until you have that policy in
Okay.
place, however you're gonna work that out. But
You've
we got
I think
months.
this is 60
Right, we
days
have
out, right?
plenty of
Yeah,
You've
we
got
got
time.
months, no problem. No problem.
Yep, that's fine, we'll get one.
Okay, so pending that,
Table
next month's meeting is as soon as somebody tells me, I'll know.
May
But
9th.
this is May 9th, so, yeah, you've got plenty of time, so. All right, if that's the only issue, unless somebody else has a question, you won't need to attend that meeting then, unless you want to.
Okay,
So
So,
just get it to us,
yep, sure.
this is for July 13th, I believe, is that correct?
Yeah,
All right.
it's Saturday.
Okay, yes, all right. So, we'll wait to get that, as long as we have that by the next meeting, just add this back to the agenda and we'll do an approval at that time. Okay?
Yep.
And that'll be up to you if you wish to attend.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for them? All right, thank you for coming. All right, then we'll go ahead and move to our next item as soon as I get my agenda back in front of me here. I've stacked everything on top of each other. That's it, I've lost my agenda. Agenda's gone. All right, which would be item B, the special event permit application for Fuller's. We'll go ahead and recognize you. All right. And I'll find my agenda here. I've got it. We're back in business.
First, I must say this place looks great,
Thank you.
and that you aren't loaded full of people, so things must be going smooth in Alburnett.
Yeah.
Almost,
Knock on wood
almost
for
a
that.
whole year. First, have you guys had a chance to look at it?
Sure, we've got it right here.
Like the date
Yeah.
list that I had.
Yeah, you're very good about putting everything in
I
advance
just,
and,
not all of that is for me, I just want you guys to know, stuff that's going on in Alburnett.
sure.
Today,
Actually, I think some of your other permits you did last year. You submitted those some stuff, give us heads up last year if you recall.
yes,
Yeah.
I tried to.
Yeah.
Today, a gentleman came in, and so this is a last minute thing, but I did get it on there last
Are
minute.
these ours to keep?
I would prefer not.
Oh,
You
okay.
can keep
I
one.
thought maybe you were
He just dropped these off, this was all I had.
Oh, okay.
If you guys would put one up, that would be great. They will be coming through Alburnett, unless, of course, Troy Mills is open, but chances for that is slim at this point because of the liens against the place. Last year, there was about 150 bikes. This is their 4th year. It's for the Boys and Girls Club. That's all they do, is they raise money for the Boys and Girls Club, and that's where all of this goes to. So what I would like to do with this is, first plan is always just to block off parking. But backup is always to block off the street if needed, which we would do with barricades, have them at the side of the street in case it got that big or that busy to where we needed to do that to keep organization, so everybody's not running over anybody else or cutting anybody off or anything like that. So I would like approval to do that if needed. I know definitely to block the parking, but I'm not sure about the streets. We kind of have to wait for the day. If it's raining, then there may be 10 people that go on it. Otherwise, there could be 200.
Do you think, Nancy, that the length in front, this block plus East First Street would be enough at its most, rather than actually shutting down traffic? Or would you rather have that block of Main shut off if it
What are you
becomes
saying?
that much?
Where's it
Um,
right here?
Yeah, right, so what I'm saying is this area of parking, or maybe even both sides, and we could, essentially this little, right in front of City Hall here,
Instead of
park them
blocking.
there, instead of completely stopping traffic from going through, because the detour always becomes confusing for some people.
I understand that too.
If I can avoid it,
I
but if you
understand
don't
that.
think it'll work, that's.
That is always my first plan, is just to block off the parking, because we have the parking behind us, and depending on the time of day, of course, they're gonna pull in the bank parking lot, and Craig Titler he's always been great for letting us park over there, but we'll never go in front of the fire station, we'll never let it go that
Right,
far.
right.
Wait a minute,
No, that's fine, I'm just,
Oh, I'm sorry, the map's on the back,
back of,
the very back of the staple, the stuff stapled together.
That's that one, okay. We were looking for that.
are these all the same maps for all the same dates? You have to see June dates on here.
Yes,
And that includes your May one also?
Is this one, this
the
event?
one I just
This event
added,
is May
yes,
18,
Yes.
and these are all 6/1, 6/8, 6/29, but this
Yes.
covers May 18 too?
yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry about that, like I said, he came in today and I wasn't quite prepared.
okay.
so May 4th is what?
That is just a Chrome Divas ride coming through Alburnett, I'm not
Oh, so
asking for
the-
anything,
Just that
I
they're
just
coming through?
want you guys to
Okay.
know. So when you see
Okay, I
people
got you.
coming through,
What was, I didn't get all the conversation you had with Guy. Do you think that just
what I will always
parking
do,
from here to here is gonna be good enough?
what I will always try to do is to do the parking, let's see, this is the angle we're at. I will always try to do the parking on both sides of the street, behind us there, alley if needed, depending on the time of the day, but most of the time the bank's closed when this stuff happens and people will park there. So unless it's big and there's a lot of them, then I won't block the street. But when there's a lot of them, I find it best to keep them all.
Yeah, I don't have it, I just didn't quite hear what it was.
Okay, yes, that's what he was after. So the orange spot is where I want to try to keep them parked on the outsides of the street. And if we need to block it, that's where it'll be blocked.
Okay, if I read these correctly, your applications, which appear to be in order, you're, from all of these except one, you're asking for partial or full street closures, except for June 22nd, where you're seeking additional,
That will be a
Step.
larger street
yeah, that's
closure.
where you have the closure with blocking or restricting private property, the sale of food, and so on and so forth, and the
Yes,
stage, the bleachers, and so on and so forth.
no stage. It'll just be bleachers.
Okay, bleachers, okay. And that's for our regular Diamond Club.
It's not a regular Diamond Club thing.
Well, the
It's our
first, I
yes.
seen annual, first annual Diamond Club
We were trying to think of
vehicle
ways
show.
to make money for them, and then Marty Boyce came into the subject, so that's kind of how it all started. It's all in memory of Marty this year, and then next year, maybe in memory of somebody else. But
Okay,
it's a car show in the morning, and then the car show ends. And then it's the Jagman Cruise, and it pulls out Alburnett at 2 o'clock. And when it pulls out, the streets get opened back up.
all right, I'll get all the comments from council here in a second. Let's start with Guy, and what are your recommendations on these street closures, Guy?
I honestly don't have any problem with any of them, as long as, just like you asked, Chris and Mary, you notify the
The Lynn County Sheriff.
Lynn County Sheriff. All you gotta do is get a hold of me and I'll get the barricades that you need, that's not a big deal.
Yep.
And I don't have any issue with it. I think it brings good things to this town to have events like that here, so. Yeah, I really don't have an issue, especially for the length of time they're talking about.
It's never very long, and on here I have it on the first page here. Like June 1st is 3 to 4 o'clock,
Yeah,
June
see the
8th
ones
is
2 to 3.
9 to 2:30. Normally, it's like an hour long, except the 22nd.
Okay. Councilman Nance?
And I will put signs out a day before, at least 24 hours before, so people know.
I have no issue with it. It's quite organized and in early. And she's got her ducks in a row.
Looks good.
I don't have an issue with any of it, looks good to me.
No problem, she's handled good events in the past, so.
And Nancy did bring by her personal liability
Insurance, and when I get the
Insurance
new one,
policy,
I'll bring it to
yep. And dropped off a copy, so.
All right, then I'm gonna need, if we're gonna approve all these, I need someone to construct the motion for all of, I don't think we can say all, but if somebody can do each one of the dates, we can do this in one motion, I think.
Which dates, Nancy, are the ones that you are actually having an application in for the,
May 18th,
yeah?
June 1st, June 8th, June 22nd, June 29th.
Just to help whoever's making the motion get there.
I would move that we approve the special event permits posted by Fuller's on May 18th for the Boys and Girls Club, June 1st, Right for Darcy, June 8th, J.C.'s Benefit, June 22nd for the car show, and June 29th.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
A motion by Saracen, second by Chance. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you for coming in. And by the
Thank you
way,
very much.
when we did our Facebook page, your Facebook page is constructed as such that we can't directly share it as a business. But we did
I don't know
link it
how
that
to
way. Yeah,
fix that.
I don't either.
Mike Gibbons will know,
Gibbons.
I'll ask him.
You know what I mean?
He knows everything.
I can't go up and click the little share. You've constructed it that way that you can't do it. You know how I'm trying to say that? Yeah.
Do you,
The other
does anybody
bus-
here know how to fix it?
The other businesses allow us to do it. I thought maybe you'd done it that way.
No, I did not do it intentionally
She
because
probably
I've tried to
changed
share
it.
it and tag it personally
Right.
and I can't.
Us, as our page, can't go grab it and share it as the city of Alburnett,
Okay,
so.
okay. Thank you for letting me know that.
Well, I just wanted to let you know, we didn't isolate you out by adding the other businesses, that's just how it.
I would have let you know if I felt alone.
So, okay,
Thank you.
yep, thank you. Okay. That constructs that, we'll go ahead and move on to item C, Lynn County Solid Waste Agency, Joe.
All right, good evening.
Thank you for being patient, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thanks for having me tonight. Joe Harini, Communications Director for the Solid Waste Agency. Here to give our annual update on services and programs.
Thank you.
Brief history of the agency, we formed back in 1994. That's when the City of Cedar Rapids and Lynn County combined under a 28E agreement. We have a 9-member board of directors. We have 6 officials from the City of Cedar Rapids, 2 Lynn County supervisors, including Brent Olson, he's our board chair this year, and then 1 appointee from the City of Marion. We operate 2 locations, and all of our services and programs are funded by our landfill tipping fee. We don't receive taxpayer dollars. So that takes me into the big news for FY20 coming up here on July 1st. Our landfill tipping fee is remaining flat for FY20, so it's going to stay $40 per ton. And then our residential disposal fees, those will remain flat as well. So if you come out in a car, SUV, or minivan, $10 flat fee for garbage. If you come out in a pickup truck or a full-size van, $20 flat fee. The big thing I want to remind you about that, if you talk to people, if they come out and they have 1 bag of garbage, they're in a pickup truck, it's a flat fee, it's $20. So if you don't only have anywhere from like 1 to 6 bags of garbage, it's probably cheaper to get that extra garbage sticker from your hauler versus coming out to us. Especially this time of year, Saturday, this past Saturday, we had 792 people coming through. Saturday before that, when the weather wasn't even that good, we still had 700 people. So spring cleaning is in effect, Saturdays are crazy out there.
Yeah, did you have quite a dip though with the bad weather?
Well, you would think so. So this Saturday, we're not anticipating as near as big a crowd, but just something about this time of year, people getting everything cleaned out. At 9 to 3 especially is where you're going to see the big lines. And then our yard waste disposal fee is going to remain flat as well, $24 per ton with a $5 minimum. Some of our other services out here that we take, appliances, that's going to stay flat, $9 per appliance. That's either microwave, washer, dryer, ovens, things like that. Scrap metal, we take scrap metal for no charge, but we don't pay for scrap metal. had a couple incidents over the years where people have come in, they've unloaded, they're like, where'd we weigh out? It's like, what are you talking about? We mostly get old, like lawnmowers, weed whackers, things like that. So if you have anything that has value, take it down to Marion Iron or another scrap dealer, because that's something that we do not do. Tires are gonna remain the same. It's $3 per tire up to 8. If you have more than 8, we weigh the load and it's 15 cents per pound. The only change that we have with those items are that currently we take them at both of our locations, County Home Road and then down at Mount Trashmore. They're the only things that we take at Mount Trashmore right now besides yard waste. Everything else has been phased out, and we don't get the numbers down there anymore to justify the hauling cost. So come July 1st, they're only accepted out of County Home Road with all the other recycling and garbage. And the only change that we do have it coming up on fiscal year FY20 are TVs and monitors. Right now we charge based on screen size. It's either $10 per unit or $15. On July 1st, we're just going to go to a flat $15 for TVs and monitors. The reason being, we are still getting hammered with old box TVs, the console style, and we get charged by the pound. We spent $68,000 to pay for the recycling program for electronics. And so we get these, big old console TV, person pays $15 around their way. It gets taken over to Midwest Electronic down in Walford. They weigh it, and that same TV is costing us anywhere from $40 to $60 to have recycled. So to help offset the cost of the program, we're just going to that $15 flat fee. We take all other electronics, no charge. So vacuum cleaners, hair dryers, stereos, VCRs. Basically, if it's not an appliance, you can plug it in. We'll take it for free. Just TVs and monitors, and those will be $15 per unit, July 1st. Recycling, I know I've been a broken record the last several years coming here saying, yeah, recycling markets are struggling. We'll see if it's going to come back. It's worse than it's ever been for recycling. I included a commodities report. You can see what we're dealing with. Last year, for example, mixed paper had zero value for more than half the year. And it's been the same thing so far this year. China has cut off recycling from the United States, and so that was the big market where most of the plastics and paper ended up. They won't take it anymore, so it's just kind of sitting. I just met with the folks from Republic this week. The way our contract is with Republic, though, it goes through next year. And so our prices are staying the same. So residents can still bring in recycling to us, no charge. Our commercial haulers who pick it up, like Rudd, their price that they drop it off, not changing at all. But next year, when our contract's up, it could be a different story.
I have a question. We recycle everything in my household.
Yeah.
So I have 2 large garbage cans. One is marked with the recycle, one is trash, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that I do 2 bags that are smaller, like kitchen bags, maybe 1 sometimes, in trash.
Yeah.
Everything else I fill that large recycle with, because we recycle everything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So in our conversations in the past, when this has come up, it's, forget it, then everything will just be trash, right? There won't be any more recycle. Is there a threat of that again?
There's the potential. There's markets for some things, what we can recycle and what there's actually. So markets, it's all driven by the markets. Everyone's like, oh, recycling's free. There's always been a cost to recycling, but there's been enough that you could pay for it in the past. Now with like the China markets closed off, there's demand still for cardboard. There's demands for plastics 1s and 2s, but not all the other 3 through 7 that goes in there. And then there's demand for aluminum and tin. So there might see some changes down the road where maybe that the only things being recycled are plastics 1s and 2s, cardboard, aluminum, and tin, and those other things get phased out just because nobody wants the mixed paper, nobody wants the plastics 3 through 7. So that could be a change right now. Keep doing what you're doing. A push that we're going to make later this year that you'll hear from us is if you are recycling, and we appreciate people are making that effort, keep it empty, clean, and dry. Because the problem is you have some people, they get that ketchup container, it's empty, there's still ketchup in there, they throw the recycling bin. That contaminates the whole load.
I did that once.
Yeah, and that's what happens is that's contaminating the whole load. So Republic, there's other landfills on the coast where, like for the paper, for example, it's sitting there, it's turning to sludge, and it's all getting landfilled. Whereas here, they have to find a market for it per our contract. But if enough of it comes in, and the contamination rates, right here, we do a pretty good job with recycling in Lynn County. Still, 10% of every load that goes there has garbage in it, be it plastic bags or styrofoam. So we're really gonna make a push for educating people what not to put in, because we do take so much. It's what not to put in there. Plastic bags, number 1. Styrofoam, number 2. Shredded paper, 3. You'd be surprised the amount of shredded paper. Republic doesn't want it anymore, and it contaminates the load, because then all the other stuff that puts in there is wet, gets soaked in. So that's going to be our big push.
And I don't want to keep everybody here all night and limit this, but I have one more question.
Yeah.
A bottle like this, my kid's terrible about crushing them and all that.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys told us not to crush the bottles because there's something that's air move them differently or something. Is that true or not?
It changes. In the 9 years I've been doing this, it has changed 4 times when it comes to you either crush it, you leave the lid on or lid off. At this point, just leave it as is. You don't have to crush it out. And then for the lid, you can leave the lid on or off, but it's gonna get thrown away. The lid itself, they're gonna throw away.
All right, thank you.
Did I hear you right? Shredded paper you don't want?
Shredded paper, either compost it or throw it in the garbage. Yep. Yeah, so that's gonna be what, we did an internal audit.
I'm guilty there, because I didn't realize.
Oh, no, so I mean, yeah, that's the one thing, we did an audit where we were down on our tipping floor watching the Marion trucks come in and the red trucks and seeing what's coming off.
Can you believe this?
You just hadn't heard, you know, you hadn't heard yet, but, the amount of plastic bags are the worst, especially, you know, we closed today because it was windy. I had a picture up on our website that you can see it. You know, Steve can tell you, we have 3 layers of fencing along on our landfill to keep stuff from blowing out, and on these windy days, just all three layers of fencing, those plastic bags, they're the worst, and then people still recycle it. It's better that they go in the garbage, because they're the worst.
Let me guess, you put your shredded paper in a plastic bag and throw it in
No,
there.
paper bag.
Yeah. And that's how you were supposed to do it.
I feel
You were
bad
doing it
about the
correctly.
ketchup now.
They just don't want it anymore, because they can't take it. Ketchup bottle, you know, here's the thing with ketchup bottle, if you're gonna spend 5 gallons of hot water trying to clean it out, just throw it away. Don't mess around with it. I once, for example, I saw this video about how to clean out a peanut butter jar. You stick it in the microwave for like a minute, and then it just pours right out. I tried it, I just melted the whole jar, and it was worthless anyway, so. Yeah, don't waste the water, throw it away.
You really want to I forget it. I was gonna say, you really want to throw some glass in there. You get a red note.
From Rudd?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put a red thing on
Yeah,
there,
you
because I did
ever
it
got
once.
Yeah.
Huh?
Have you ever gotten cut?
That's.
I have.
Yes.
Okay, he's doing shredded paper. All right.
I do have a question for Joe,
Yeah.
because I've seen the technology. What is the landfill doing to research different options besides landfilling, as far as, I mean, there's technologies out there, plasma arc, and
Yeah.
different ways of, you know, turning the plastic bottle back into petroleum.
So we have looked into it, and nothing is as cost effective and as environmentally sound as what we're doing right now. So like the plasma arc technology, you know, Marion looked at it for years, and they would have done it if they could make it work, but you would have to charge residents quadruple what they currently pay for landfilling. And so that's why, you know, for here we have so much space, it doesn't make sense. Like there's I think 1 auto manufacturing facility in Japan that uses our technology, because Japan's an island, you know, the most valuable thing they have is real estate. So it makes sense to charge people $300 to take it there, versus you can't make that argument in the Midwest when we have so much ground, and we still have about 25 years of space left at the landfill out there, which sounds like a lot, but it's gonna go really quick. And then when we get down there, it's what are we gonna do? Because I'm sure many of you remember when it came time to expand in the early 2000s, the fight that happened there. Nobody wants a landfill in their backyard. So landfilling is the last thing that we want to do, and that's why we encourage people to do composting, do recycling, but it all depends on the markets, and now markets for recycling are bad. If they go away, you know, for example, the legislation that's proposed right now for the bottle bill, probably a lot of material that gets diverted right now through the grocery stores. If this legislation passes, grocery stores and convenience stores won't have to take bottles back anymore. So are people gonna make the trip to go all the way down to the can shed, or is it just gonna go in their blue bins, or is it just gonna go in the garbage? So that's what we have to worry about. But yeah, we always are looking at technologies. We have engineering firms that we work with that specifically look for options, and at the end of the day, when you break down the numbers, there's nothing that's economically viable enough for us to pursue it.
Hopefully in 25
I
years.
hate to
'cause-
keep asking questions, but do you own more land out there?
I can't get into out there, our footprint that we have out there is our current footprint. So we have our space there, and actually, so right now, we call them cells, and so there's phases, that we have 5 phases basically of expansion. And so we're already in phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then so we're planning right now within the next year that they will design phase 5, which will be the last landfill cell where all the garbage will go into. So when you first come in, as you're driving into the landfill,
Yeah.
if you look over to the right, that's the original 30-acre cell that opened back in 1972. As tall as that is, that's as tall as we can go. That's our airspace limit, height that we can reach. And so those next 5 phases that we have to deal with, that's as tall as we will be able to go for the next 25 years.
25 years from now, you look me up and I help you find some land.
So my hope is in 25 years, when I can retire, and then when all this happens, like, you know what, I'm done. And you guys can figure it out. You know?
I bet in 25 years they expand right out there and keep it up. You think of people out there that don't want it, think of all the people that don't want a new one, I bet they do end up doing it.
Well, that's the biggest thing that people think about. You know, we don't create the garbage, we're just dealing with it from Lynn County. And if you know, Cedar Rapids, Lynn County is the economic engine of Iowa. You think about all the industry that we have here, and if the landfill closes and all of a sudden you have Quaker Oats doing an evaluation of their facilities, and it's like, yeah, everything's going really well there. Oh wait, our disposal costs just went up quadruple or triple,
Right.
because all of a sudden now we're a transfer station instead of a landfill, and they have to like, well, do we keep this one open, or our plant in Tennessee that, oh wait, landfill rates haven't changed, who they're gonna choose? That's what's scary.
Or then the building and transportation of the other stuff. I mean, it's good what we got. Anyway, I don't want
Yes.
to tie you up. Go
All
ahead.
right, moving on. Household hazardous material recycling, old paints, chemicals, cleaners, you can drop those off for free anytime we're open, 7 to 4:30, Monday through Saturday over here at County Home Road. And our staff literally does check every item that comes in. If it's usable, goes right into the free paint room. Anything in there, public can come in, take whatever you want.
What about all the stuff that people let get old that don't have a label on it? They just know it's a can of something.
They test it, and then if we can identify what it is.
But you don't care, you take everything.
We take everything, and then they have, if you go back in there, he has 70 different categories, and we have these giant 55-gallon drums, and he just pours it into the right one. It gets cleaned out every 3 months, goes to Clean Harbors, and gets destroyed either correctly. Yeah. Education and outreach. We do have a licensed teacher on staff. He works with everyone from preschool kids up to college level graduate students. And this is the time of year he's out in schools every day. We're doing tours, every 6th grader from Alburnett, North Lynn, Central City, Cedar Rapids, Linn-Mar, they all will come through, see where their garbage ends up. And he also does a lot of work in the summers with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. So if you want to look for some summer programs for the city, let us know. He is available for that. Moving down to our Mount Trashmore location, we did open up the overlooking trails last September. It was great for about 2 weeks, and then the monsoons hit in fall. And they're great. There's a mile-long walking trail that goes up to the top. We have a multi-use trail for walkers and bicyclists to get up to the top. And then going down, we have what's called a flow trail just for bicycles. Really cool. Everything was built on top of Mount Trashmore because it is a closed landfill. Been capped with clay. Now has vegetation growing. We had to bring in all the dirt to do that. So one of those weeks last October, I think it was, we got 4 inches of rain in 1 week. And so we had to close down because these trails have to dry out. There was erosion and stuff like that. And I was getting all these angry comments on our Facebook page going, we spent $1 million on this and you can't even open it up. It's like, these are dirt trails, they need to dry out. We just went from the worst winter we've had in 10 years now to monsoon season here in the spring. But we're hoping to open up this May. Once everything gets dried out, we get the trails back in shape. And the big thing to remember this is, it's not a park, it's still a closed landfill, regulated by the DNR. We have 47 gas collection wells throughout it, getting all the methane and other gases out of Mount Trashmore. So someone from our staff always has to be there, but we've hired a recreation coordinator so we can have open more this fall. And if you haven't been down there, I included some of the pictures from the view and the bike trail, so it's pretty cool. Come check it out if you can. And then, of course, right adjacent to Mount Trashmore is our compost facility, still working. I come here every year and I tell you, we give away our compost to residents. You get 1 ton free every time you come visit. And then we asked ourselves, how do we make free better? And so this is our idea. We're giving away compost. We're going to turn Earth Day is April 22nd. We're going to turn Earth Day into Earth Month. So April 22nd to May 22nd, we're giving away our compost free to Linn County residents and businesses, no limits. So if you're a landscaper and you have a giant dump truck, you come in with a dump truck, we will load you up, no charge. You come with a semi-trailer, we will load you up, no charge, while supplies last. We have a huge supply right now. We want people to use our compost and to take advantage of this. So for 1 month, for everybody, businesses and residents, free, no limits, while supplies last. And then after that month is up, it goes back, still free for residents, just 1 ton at a time. And then to go along with the free compost, we do have free fill material. So we call it filled dirt, but as Steve can tell you, it's more of a clay material. And this is a little bit different. This is more for our communities. You have to arrange it with our operations manager. I threw her phone number on there. Her name's Brooke. Just you call us, set up an appointment with Brooke. You have to come in either with a dump truck or bigger, and then we'll load you up with that. And if you don't have any big projects around the city, you need some fill material, we'll give it to you as much as you want. We have a big supply of that as well.
It's gotta be dry.
Yes.
It is not next to the good driveway.
On your website?
No, but I can send it to you.
I got it somewhere, I just,
Do you think it's worth putting on ours for folks?
We can include it with the minutes, right?
Yeah.
I'll send you a PDF tomorrow.
Are we
yeah,
linked
I
to
thought
the-
we already had one. It might be on the clerk's computer, but.
I think folks might be interested in this, so
Yeah.
more information might save you.
No, I've been getting calls from people who saw it in the landfill link that went out in the paper, so.
Okay.
All right, so lastly, we want to say thank you for being a member of the Solid Waste Agency. And if there's anything that we can do for you besides give you cash money, we'll try and do it.
Free credit so that we can have a cleanup.
City credit.
Just let's roll over the scale for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Think about that.
All right, I'll take it back to the board.
I won't,
Charlie's
I
there.
won't hold my breath, but okay.
All right.
All right, well, thank you, we appreciate you
Joe.
coming
Thanks.
in,
Thanks,
and we
Joe.
hope to see you again next year with more flat rates,
Yes.
so.
All right,
All right,
bye.
very good, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that takes us up to item D, which is the city sign, city logo discussion. This is something that we've talked about before with the council. We've had folks come in from different places, including the school. You'll see that there's a design option that's in there that is some feedback from the school, and then we also have some other design options that are up here on the screen. So your packet one, you've had an opportunity to look at, and then I'll go ahead and have Guy flip through the ones that are here as well, so. This is by no means all of them, or you don't have to make a decision this evening. I just want to keep you up to date on what we have so far.
And where is this gonna be used?
This will replace what you see on your agenda right here, this top portion one that has been around for some times, and I think it's time maybe to add something with a little more color and a little updated design.
And that's all, my daughter didn't have time to really dig into it like I was hoping to. She designed this and Charlie added a couple comments, and so this is the final product, the collaboration between the two of them basically. She can do anything, you know. The conversation got started, of course, with the signs on the outer south and north ends of town. I think Lamar Advertising, Todd Wagner is still willing to do the vinyl to cover them if we want. But also, you know, to go on letterhead on a shirt, on a, you know, whatever on the door of the truck, or, you know, if it's time to freshen it up, maybe we do everything, you know, but we gotta have a design we like. Part of it was from the Pirate Collaborative. That's where that
Yeah.
sign in your packet came from. A couple of young ladies working on that this year came up with that design.
And it's not that I hate this design or anything, this particular one is okay. I just don't think it's as representative as the elements that are here. I mean, this gives the colorization and the elements that are here gives more of a logo feel and the representation of both the county and community. So obviously I'd be leaning towards something more like this for a logo design, but not my decision, it's a council decision of what they want to do. Obviously, whatever we pick is something we're going to go with for some time, so I think that's important. Also, it's, when I say pick, we could go with something that we think is good and also still submit it to the public for review or anything like that as well, so. Anyway, it's something that we've been talking about now for almost a year, I think, from the first time that we had input from different folks, and I would like to see some closure to it.
If you have ideas to implement into this or change it, let me know. I mean, my daughter lives in the College of Design at Iowa State University. She's got lots of tools at her fingertips, so if there's something you can tell me to have her try, she will try it. So.
Maybe a different font.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I mean, the background and everything seems decent to me.
Her first attempt just had a taller, another one of these, basically behind the A, but I really thought the shape of the water tower stood out behind the A.
My only comment for if we were to use it like letterhead or logo wise, it's a little tall. I mean, it would-
Overall height
Well, this-
from the,
A little too big this way
Yeah,
in
and-
relationship to this.
I
wonder
just
if
think
we
it's gonna use up too much real estate on letterhead or that.
wonder if we stretch this out and got the motto all in one long piece, or,
Thin out the groundwork there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, make it a single line across the bottom instead of being two lines.
I think that would help, yeah.
Couldn't we have more than one size? One size for the sign?
Oh, yeah, but yeah, I get Bethany's point.
Logo
you know.
version is just a little bulky.
Yep, gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
behind the A, that's intended to be the water tower.
Yeah, that's what she was shooting for, yeah.
Maybe if we outline that in black and then made the interior white, you know, it might,
Sure.
otherwise it might
Stand out a
be
little bit more.
misrepresented as the sun.
I thought it was the sun. But I like the water tower thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have her fine tune a little bit more and we'll
Were there other, examples then?
The only other thing that she did, let me see if I can get to that quickly here. I think that's this tab.
And I don't dislike what the school kids came with, but that's really just, it feels very signage. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think we can use it
something you might
universally.
see like,
Sign.
yeah, street sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it looked good.
like this
Yeah,
one
but
down
we
here.
couldn't use it universally.
This one's a lot more blocky, obviously, different font. Some of the other attempts, like I said, had just that kind of background behind the A, and then messing with colors. I think we want to stay away, the school's kind of dominating the purple and gold thing, so we want to stay away from that. But yeah, that's just what, I just told her, think up something that could go on a shirt and a letterhead and a, you know, and a sign outside of town, try and make it universal, and that's just what she came up with. This was her first attempt, so then we asked to add some more color to it, put the brown on the bottom, so that was the one that I showed to you previously, but she's more than willing to do whatever, we can throw anything at her. Anybody like the blockier letters? Does that make more sense, or?
No, I like the,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I like the direction she's going with
Yeah.
the current one.
I like that.
Except maybe stretch this out, make it a little, not so tall.
see, it's not so bad
I
without
like
the
that
brown.
bottom one, that black and white one, that is all the way across the bottom, go down. Like there's a
Oh, yeah,
all the way
yeah,
across,
Yeah,
something like that.
thinner like that with the,
Yeah.
but it with the brown.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
No problem, I'll have her work on it some more.
All right, leave it as a, you'll leave that as an agenda item then, or as soon as it's ready, you'll add that as a.
Yeah,
leave it as an agenda item. All right, very good. That moves us to item number E, water meters, discuss and purchase of water meters. Go ahead and recognize you on that guy.
Yeah, we've got one new one left, and there's 2 houses currently being built, or 3 actually, under construction. And I haven't got to diagnose them, but I think I've got at least 2 in town that might need to be replaced. We're having read issues with them. Box of 6, I've got the quote from Ferguson is $1,470, so that's a little more than my spending limit, so we need them.
You're just gonna get one box or 2?
Well, I think I'll get 1 box. They're not, I can get them quickly.
Oh.
I call them up and they'll be here in a week, so.
Say, you're gonna guarantee all 6 are going out the door. I mean,
Yeah, they're
almost.
pretty much gonna be, yeah,
So-
but,
If it's worth that.
yeah, I can, if you think I should get 2, then I'll get 2, that's
I will.
12.
Because, yeah, you're gonna burn your first 6.
Well, and who knows, there could be another couple new houses yet this summer, they just haven't got the deal done yet, so.
Yeah, I'd rather have them.
Okay. Well, and you never know when some of them break down too.
The quote's in your packet, the quantity is set as 6 in your packet, so is that number gonna change?
Yeah, so the number would be then double of 1470, 2940.
And aren't these newer ones have less mechanical problems
Yes.
than some of the older ones?
Yes,
They're better designed.
yes, the ones we've been using, the radio is all inclusive in the register. And so it's all one unit, where the old ones had a meter with a register on top and then the radio unit on top of that. So,
All right, Chester indicates this is a budgeted item. Any other questions for this?
As long as the funds are there.
oh, yeah, there's plenty in the water account.
There's one, that's not a,
By 12, is that what we're talking?
yeah.
Yeah, 2 gigs or 2 boxes.
For a total of $29.40, is that correct, guy?
Yep.
Could we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we buy 12 water meters from Ferguson.
I have a motion by Sean, second by Trom. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, next item is the item number F, dual water meters. Also recognized to you for this guy.
Resident on Linden Street wants to put in an irrigation system, and he would like to, wanted to know what the scenario was with having a separate water meter for that because of, not paying sewer. There's 2 instances in town that I know of that are that way. The elevator has a second meter for the pipe that they fill tender trucks with that does not have storm sewer charges on it. And there's another resident on Howard Street that has an irrigation system with a separate meter. I did a little research, and in that scenario, generally the rule of thumb, and it's not in our ordinance book per se, is that if that person wants the second meter, they have to pay for it. So for example, these new water meters are $245 a piece. So he would pay for the meter, we would make sure he'd get his plumbing ready, I'd make sure it's installed after his main meter is the way it generally works. And then when he's running his irrigation system, he just is not having to pay sewer and storm sewer charges on it.
Would this be the same size of a meter?
Yeah, because he's only got a 3/4 line going to his house anyway, so there's no reason to have a bigger one.
Like I say, that's a big difference in the cost.
Oh, it does, I got a quote, I didn't even open it, I had him quote me larger, but then it dawned on me after I asked for the quote, he's only got a 3/4 line going to the house anyway, a larger one isn't gonna do a bit of good, so.
So having a water, sewer, plus another water, that doesn't affect your accounting system at all?
No, we already do it with the one other resident and the elevator, yeah, I think it might generate 2 bills for him,
Okay.
but, you know, that, it is what it is, you know. So it's not out of the ordinary, just, I haven't done one and I had to do the research, and so I wanted it, you know, to go run it by you. I'm not even sure if we need a motion on this, but we just wanted to not pass that up, just in, you know,
I would at
if
least
you thought
want,
we need.
I would at least want to document through a motion that he is to pay for the meter.
Okay, all right.
No other questions, then entertain a motion?
I would move that we allow the dual water meter for an irrigation system with the resident responsible for the cost of the meter.
Moved by Saracen,
Second.
second by Menson. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. You'll go ahead and take care of that guy.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Move to item number G, the seal coat proposals. The only thing I'd say about this is, when this was placed on, this was supposed to include the, remind me of the rock.
Rock for the lagoons.
Yeah, so this really should have said road coating and repairs. So I think that needs done now, doesn't it?
Yes, so before
So
we
please
ever
cover both.
rutted up mess, the Hanley dirt work, that was separate from the rest of your packet, that just came in. Basically, there's 2 stretches here that I had him estimate. One is the gravel that's already in place that is thin, and we're driving through it with all the rain and the tough weather this winter. That is the one that's, the rock is $2,756, trucking $900. I can spread it. He quoted it, but there's no reason to pay him $1,000 to spread it. I can do it. So that's the one that I'd like to get done right away before we have a mess. So that'd be a total of, didn't even get a chance to add it, $3,656. The other is something I'm planning on, which I wanted to bring up at the same time, just so you know. I generally drive along the west side of it's cell 3 with the first cell you come to. I drive along the top of that cell around to the north side where the structures are, where we pull our samples when we're draining the lagoons. That's never been gravel before. It's just a grass top, and it's starting to get rutted. And in really bad weather, it's getting bad. So at this point, we either got to shape it up, reseed it, but that could wait till the summer. I just wanted to throw it out there that maybe we get the main driveway taken care of now, since it's gonna fall apart, and then think about, but that's an approximation if we had Jeremy do the entire job of what it would take to get gravel all the way over to those structures where we sampled the lagoons. So again, I could do some of these options. I could spread the gravel, I could probably do a share of the prep of the surface to go out there, but the biggest cost is the rock anyway.
If we're doing everything now, what's the total cost?
Oh, if we just do,
And while you're doing that, let me,
We're sitting on a budget item.
yeah, what we
or
said
something
here
like
for the budget.
Well, this would come out of the sewer, right?
yes.
We can probably swing that.
But gravel up around the sewer and the sewer cells in the long run is gonna benefit the sewer.
Yeah.
And maintain its.
And the DNR looks at that stuff when they come do their inspection, if you're keeping your weeds down, maintaining your driveways, you know, not causing any structural damage to your berms, because what I'm driving on top of is essentially the berm that creates the wall to the, you know, of the,
So you're right on top of the berm? then?
yeah, right on the top
So this would be
edge.
somewhere off the berm then?
Well, no, we make this pathway right on top of that berm, yeah.
But it prevent the rutting in the future?
Yes, right. If I just leave out the, oh, that, hit the wrong button there.
I came up with 4110 without labor.
Yeah, yeah. Because the biggest expense is the rock and the hauling, you know. Yeah, if we just agreed to do the rock and the hauling, I'm sure I could do everything else. If we approve this now though, by the time I get that stretch from the existing lane to the structure ready for him to haul rock, prices could have changed. You know, because it might be June before I'm ready for him to do that, because I gotta have it dry out and have time to do it first. So,
Okay, so,
should we just address that second part and then?
I think so.
yeah, okay, so you want the motion first for approval for the seal coat costs, and then you want additional approval to move forward with the rock?
Yeah, let's separate them, I think,
Okay.
because we need to discuss that seal coat quotes a little bit too. If you wanna do it all as one motion, we better go through that now.
On the seal coat,
The quotes are not really apples to apples
Why don't-
because,
You wanna just take care of this one first?
that's fine.
okay,
I move we, engage handling dirt work for rock to improve the road up to the sewage lagoon.
A motion by Trump,
Second.
second by Saracen. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, let's
all right.
talk about the seal coat costs here.
Yes, the reason they're not apples to apples is because the two companies approach fixing the chunk of Third Avenue differently. Third Avenue was the worst piece of the north end of Third Avenue, right by the city shop, by Steve's shop and Dave Ely's house. Anyway, it was in the worst shape anyway, and then the brush grinder and showed up with his two semis to grind brush, and that's the only way in and out, and he pretty much destroyed it. And so it's soft underneath and it's blown up all over. So that's a redo. Prairie Road Builders was just, their quote is just to put aggregate over top of what's there, and then the asphalt or tar and the chips over top. Pelling is talking about scarifying, probably going a foot deep, tearing up the old surface, packing it down, putting considerably, if you look at the quotes, Prairie Road Builders is talking about 145 ton, and Pelling is talking about it's almost 300 ton. That's the difference. You know, they're gonna tear it up, scarify it, pulverize it, repack it, put new material down, and then seal coat over top of it, so it's a long-term fix. Versus Prairie Road Builders is basically just putting a larger Band-Aid on than just seal coating it. The other thing that you have to look at on Pelling versus Prairie Road Builders is 800 and, if you look at the North Third Avenue portion, he quoted me just putting seal coat over top, because when he did his estimate, it wasn't that bad. It was before the brush grinder got here. So he quoted me both.
Okay.
So $801.95 can come off of that total that's down there at the bottom. So it's basically just a little over 16,000 for Pelling's quote. That being said, the reason it's so much higher is so much more material going into the repair, the $3,916. And then the rest of the seal coating, the normal seal coating on our other areas, Pelling is much cheaper than Prairie Road Builders on that seal coating. It's $2.15 a square yard for Pelling versus $3.20 a square yard. So it's more money in the end, but I think we'll have a much better product when we're all done.
Do you remember when that was blacktop the first time up by Ely's? Was that dug down or was that just a layer of blacktop on that?
No, it dug down.
Was it?
How long ago was it?
8 years ago probably? Would it be
10
that long?
years ago maybe.
It's been a while.
It's always been soft every year. I'm actually surprised it held that long, but it was dug down, probably put rock in there.
I just don't think putting a little aggregate over top and then seal coating over top of that is gonna, we'd be doing that again in 2 years. You know,
Well, it'd be better if they did scarify and pack it and then do that, that's
Right.
for sure.
right.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Problem with Pelling, it'll be late July or August before they can get here. They told me flat out, they're so busy, everything is so blown up that I'm sure with this weather, it'll be August for sure before they can get here, so.
What about Kuzner? Did you get a thing from
That
him?
is Prairie Road Builders. Prairie Road Builders is
Is Klusner now.
is Klusner. Yeah, it's owned by Klusner, but they call it a different name, so,
Okay, I didn't realize that.
yeah. Yeah. My recommendation would be to go with Pelling's proposal. The other streets have I can do a little patching with cold patch, and when they get here and seal coat over them, they're still firm and in good shape, with the exception of a couple little boils, so I feel good about those. And I did not ask to budget this, because I had no idea these were gonna blow up like this year, they were in such good shape.
Well, I don't think that's gonna, before the big complaint was all the dust. And I don't think that's gonna get dusty, it's gonna be rough, but it won't be dusty.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you have these in front of you, you have a recommendation from Public Works Director. The cost for the LL Pelling is $16,823. If you reduce it by $801.95, it's reduced to $16,021.05. So which number do you want to use?
Definitely the 16,021.05, because that's
Okay,
a.
the
that'd
amended
be a
cost
double.
on here is then $16,021.05. Are there any other questions on this?
We have money in the budget for this?
There's 22,000 unexpended in the street maintenance account, so.
Should
We'll
be
check.
all right.
Is,
I don't know how did we decide we were gonna do North Street?
Oh, the ditch cleaning and stuff?
No, no.
Oh, no, that's in
Oh,
next year's budget.
Okay, that's,
Well, this might be too if we're August.
Well, yeah, if it's August, this could slide into next year's budget too, if it takes them that long to get here,
so
absolutely.
we could always just, transfer over.
Mhm, yeah,
We have to.
yeah. Or if we get to the end and that money is still in the account, I'm sure we could probably pay them ahead if we wanted to expend the funds out of this year's budget, whatever works the best, doesn't matter.
Any other questions? Seek a motion if we can get one.
I make a motion, we accept the proposed bid from LL Pelling for $16,021.05 for the seal coating of North Third Railside Drive and then the alley along the railroad tracks.
Motion by Menson,
second.
second by Trump. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, very good. Next item is a resolution 04-2019-1, setting a public hearing for the FY 2019 budget amendment. This is the resolution for the setting of the public hearing, not the public hearing itself. It will be set for the Thursday, May 9th, 2019, 7 p.m. meeting, or next month's meeting, and we'll do the public hearing and the amendment at that time. I entertain a motion to do that. I also need this one by roll call, but do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion by Chester for the setting of the public meeting for next month.
Public hearing for next month, 04/2019-01.
I would second that.
A second by Saracen. Any other discussion? I'll need a roll call on that, please.
Counselor Trump,
Aye.
Counselor Chance.
Aye.
Counselor Sarahson.
Aye.
Counselor Menson.
Alright,
Thank you.
Let the record reflect, motion passed unanimously. I'll also need a I'll need a non-flip copy. of this.
Oh, yeah, I got
All right.
that. Okay.
All right, very good. All right, we'll move on then to item number 12, discuss the Cascade purchase for the fire department. Are you handling that, chief?
I got it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, the quote is in your packet from Feld. The only reason we need to take care of this, the Cascade system, we have the grant to cover it. But we have to show the grant people that we've ordered it and paid for it to get the grant money. So, we're gonna have to probably, that's a large enough expenditure, you're gonna have to make a motion to pay for the Cascade system and to, but knowing the grant money, it's like a $700 difference. It's gonna cost $700. So came out really close to what the grant paid versus what the unit cost, so.
You gotta pay a certain percentage anyway.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It winds up being about 700. It was 5% of the purchase price, but I think the original quote that they wrote the grant off of, it was a little bit higher than this. And so it's only
But you
$725.
can also order it, and if you know it doesn't come within 30 days, you can request the money, so you don't have to pay for it yourself.
Right, we're just doing this in case,
Yeah.
they require us to,
But it's gotta be done by August, or
Yeah.
we lose the money.
we need to get it ordered, and we just need to make sure that we have the mechanism to pay for it if we're slow to get the grant money, basically, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, 40,756.
Oh, and to answer your question, Cam talked to the guy from Feld, there will be an annual maintenance contract that probably would get signed when it's a year old. Cam feels like it's just an easily handled expenditure by the fire department's normal annual budget to have them come once a year.
Do we know that cost?
No, he didn't know yet.
Are you all right with this?
Yeah.
And you're good with the maintenance coming out
Actually,
of
I thought it
your,
was ordered a long time ago, so,
but you're all right with the maintenance coming out of your operating?
yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like it'd be minimal, it's not gonna be.
Yeah, he's over, he lives right here somewhere. Independence, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We have a recommendation from the fire chief for approval on the cascading system for the grant. What about the budgeting portion of it?
I guess I feel we should take it out of the fire department and the community center building. And then when they get the grant back, put the money.
and
Okay.
it's quite possible it won't even go in if the grant comes in before the invoices do.
If anybody questions, it's a lot easier to explain because it's fire department stuff, that we take it out of that.
Okay, so the recommendation there from finance is that it comes out of the fire department funding. I think there's about 125 in there. So we take it out of that account, and then once the grant comes back, if it needs to be funded that way, then that will
Money go back.
go back into there
Back into that account.
instead of out of fire operating.
Right,
That's the recommendation for funding.
rather than the equipment reserve.
Yep, okay.
A lot easier to explain it. Somebody asks why. Well, it's fire department, that's it.
I see that the invoice is for net 30, so we can wait till, the time frame in there to see if the grant comes through, if they
Yeah.
don't ship it next
As
time.
soon as we order it and can show proof of the order, then we should be able to get the grant money coming. I don't anticipate a problem, but,
All right,
That's something we need to take action on then right away.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Councilman.
You have a 30-day window, so if it takes 8 weeks to get it, you might wanna wait just a little longer.
Well, however.
We'll check that out now that we, if you guys make the motion, we'll check out all the timing and trying to do
But
it
they should be able, when you order, they should tell you, I think he told us 6 to 8 weeks.
before you actually get it,
Yes.
yes. But it's a 30-day invoice, probably
Yeah,
billed
but-
when,
So if you order it, and it's gonna be 6 weeks, I'd wait a half a month and then request your money
yeah.
to get it.
It probably depends more on when the company invoices you for the unit.
Well, this is a quote, not an invoice, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that they won't invoice until
And most places will work.
delivery, so.
Okay.
All right. Councilman Trump, any questions?
No.
Any more, Jeff?
No, I'm happy.
All right. seek motion then to approve the cost as submitted for the purchase of the equipment.
So moved.
You know what, since it's $140,000, why don't we do it by roll call also?
Okay.
We need a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry, moved by Bethany
Second.
and seconded by Councilman Trump, thank you. Would you do that?
Counselor Menson,
Aye.
Counselor Sarahson,
Aye.
Counselor Shantz, Counselor Trump.
All right, let the record reflect there was a unanimous approval of that. Thank you, Chief. All righty, let's move on to then item B, discuss the part-time public works replacement. I'll go ahead and recognize you, Guy. Have we had anyone put in for this position yet?
Yeah, we have 2 young men. I started thinking about different options because it's been going slowly, trying to find someone pretty unique position. 2 young men, one's a high school senior about to graduate, the other one is a college age. The college age one, Charlie, Mayor, you and I talked about this, he's not positive that he wants to do this, so he's kind of on the fence. He's entertaining some other jobs, but they're both definitely interested. My thought process is, I'm used to being without someone in the spring and the fall anyway, with John's schedule. We could do a college age person in the summer to mow and do that kind of work, and it might be easier to find someone who's just willing to push snow in the winter, who doesn't have the time for summer action. So I wanted to throw out to you guys, having 2 different people on payroll, any problem in your eyes versus having that one part-time person?
Well, pleasure of the council on this, but my first question is, John's indicated he'd be about another month before he was unavailable again. Have we reached that point? Is this
Yeah.
something that we need to move on right now as far as filling this position?
He hasn't been coming in, but I've been getting by just fine. When grass starts needing to be cut, that's when it's gonna be go time. He's gonna come, by the way, I'll be gone for a few days, next Thursday through Tuesday. We're going to New York to watch Kylie sing. But John's gonna come back and do the water chores while I'm gone for that trip, and that was no problem for him to do. It'll be grass time when we're in a pinch, which could be just a week or 2 away. I just haven't found anyone who's interested in that very part-time, around a year job. I've talked to a lot of people, but it's either not enough or they don't want to, they need a more steady schedule, which I can't give them because I don't know when it's
Well,
gonna
I know
snow.
Cedar Rapids, I'm sure Marion's the same way with hire seasonal employees all the time. I mean, I hate to see us come to that, but it's
Yeah.
better than having nothing.
Well, and, it makes sense to me that someone who has the time in the winter to push snow would not have the time in the summer. There's all kinds of ready-mix truck drivers and stuff like that that get laid off for the entire winter. They would probably come jump in a snowplow, no problem, and help out that way. And there's all kinds of college-age kids that are looking for summer work too, conversely. So it's probably actually a pretty decent scenario, except for training 2 different people and possibly retraining each summer if you get a different laborer, but it's not that hard to do. So right now it seems like the best option to me.
I think we got lucky with John being as flexible and available as he was. That
Yeah.
was a rare find, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a seasonal would be a good fit for this year, and maybe we can explore options. If it doesn't work, like, you do it on a trial basis.
There's such a thing as up to whoever we hire, if it's a school kid, he may like it and then come back and want to do it next year too. You don't know.
Absolutely. And if nothing else, it buys us time. If we get someone in place now who can run that lawnmower and keep things going through the summer, then I've just got more time to possibly find that person who maybe is a full year type employee, so,
Okay. All right, so you're wanting authorization to go ahead and fill the position?
yes, please.
Okay. I'll let you determine which person you're gonna select based upon the best qualifications. So can we have a motion to,
Have we decided what we're gonna pay? Same thing.
Oh, are we gonna go off the starting rate at our pay scale, or do you want to step up on that?
No, I think starting rate is fine, and the seasonal end of things, definitely. In fact, I'm hearing that would be a boost over most similar positions. One of the young men worked for the city of Cedar Rapids on the pothole crew for 2 summers, and I think he told me he was making 10.5 or 11 an hour, and I think we're at 14 something to start that spot.
I don't have the pay
I
scale
didn't-
in front of me.
I
You
didn't
can get an
get it printed
opportunity, we can defer until we get an opportunity to pull if you want, but they generally start at step 1 unless you're gonna request a step up from it. I think I may have it too.
Yeah, I'd have
I
to
can
dig.
pull that
Right
if you want.
here.
Bethany Donner.
What level were we at?
John was making 16 something.
So level 6, 1610 would be step 3.
Yeah, I think that was the number.
It's a 1510, step 1.
Yeah, you'd be at the bottom end of the scale.
So it'd be 15
High for
something.
mowing grass.
Well, it is, it
Not
is.
bad.
I mean, I would not hire anyone that I didn't think was capable of doing the chlorine tests and being able to handle basically everything that John did. I mean,
Well,
not
I'm working
just-
side by side on 2-man jobs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It wouldn't just be riding the lawnmower, but of course, yes, they.
I just need to know what the pay rate is.
I'm not sure what scale we're at, but that's the, I think maybe we determined we were at 6.
1510.
Well, we could start, back it up a little bit, if this is truly gonna be a seasonal position that we're talking about now. Is the,
So is it full-time
Yeah.
seasonal? So is it full-time for those 3 months?
I mean, I've got enough projects going on, I could at least get them 30 hours, I don't know if I'd get them 40 hours every week, but, I probably could
It's a
get 'em-
study,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, the one young man's got an application in with the city of Hiawatha to mow for them, and that's part of the reason he's not ready to step into anything, but he's been told that's a 20-hour week position, so he's asking me 20 here, 20 there. I could probably deal with that. He's got more experience than the other young man does at doing that kind of thing, so.
I hate to resource share too much and get, because it's like mowing you can't do in the morning, so
Right.
where his 20 hours coming from, are we gonna get the
Yeah.
short end?
Oh, I
you
know, and that may cause that particular person, but I haven't gone looking for that group of people, they happen to stumble onto me, you know,
I
so.
don't have the job description with me that,
I don't
what
know
rate
if
are you suggesting then?
I think we had it in,
Let me see.
Yeah, was it temporary job in that email? So,
I think it's the,
Let me get this where I can actually see it. Sorry, I should have been more prepared. Fire me from my quick job, aren't
can you,
You can't get that lucky.
you? But,
times
You can't get that lucky.
yeah. Let's see.
you firing it, Bethany?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paging through it here. Full-time. This does not have the part-time on here. Full-time service worker, is that what we're, reports to Public Works Director?
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's full-time, right? Or
well, his was,
equivalent to what John is doing.
it'd be in the new format, I mean, you couldn't miss what it was.
Yeah, that says it's at grade 7.
And it's in the new format? Okay.
That's the one she just
And what's the
said.
starting salary there?
1677.
No, that could be.
That, John was at 16 something right here at the end. I'm betting he started out at the 6.
Oh, John was at a higher rate than that though, because he was well into the scale.
I don't know if we ever got him on the scale.
He wasn't?
No, I think we 16 something.
Yeah.
We just
Oh, I
gave
thought it was
him-
higher than that.
Yeah, we gave him just $1 per hour
No.
Yeah,
raises.
give him a dollar.
I don't think we had gotten him on the.
I mean, you could start,
Let's see if it gets steep for mowing lawn.
That seems a little high for mowing, I'd rather go down to grade 6. if we're gonna go this seasonal route versus someone who,
1510 would be plenty, I mean, definitely. Again, we're outside of the convenient locations like Cedar Rapids hires how many in a summer. That's why he was on the potholing crew. It was a 3-minute drive from his house. He can get here in 10 minutes, but he can get to the Cedar Rapids shop in about 5 minutes.
Regardless, the council can give you the authority to hire a seasonal worker, and we can set the starting wage at anything we want.
Okay.
I mean, that's irregardless of
Sure.
what's the scale say or anything else. I guess if whoever is gonna form the motion here needs to determine what a starting wage is gonna be for a seasonal worker here. I mean, we're kinda in that ground here. Do we have an idea of what is gonna be fair here?
Well, I think in the $15 range, we should be able to hire somebody competent for that.
I think so.
Okay, so if we do follow the scale that we had there, we're back to that 1510?
Yeah, 1510.
Okay.
And I don't know, do we want to set a maximum hours or should it be a max?
Definitely wouldn't let them go over 40 unless we had some absolutely unusual event. For one thing, I really do think that 30 hours would top it every week between the mowing and then helping me on projects that I need help with. 30 would probably be a weekly maximum.
I don't know if we need to specify it, I mean, he'd be the manager,
Yeah,
his discretion.
Hold that
Yeah,
line on that.
yeah, I wouldn't, your public works, so I would not go over 30 without at least
Yep.
calling Councilman
Absolutely.
Trump.
Absolutely, no problem.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
I make a motion, we authorize our Public Works Director to hire a seasonal worker for the summer months at pay scale 6, step 1, which is $15.10 an hour. With stipulation of staying around 30 hours a week.
We have a motion by Saracen,
Second.
second by Tron. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Just handle that at the speed of hiring, whatever you need. All right.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, we're now up to the Roosevelt culvert replacement update. Public Works.
We got 3, I sent out 4 quote sheets. 1 did not respond. If you look at in your packets, the first one is the engineer's estimate, and then it's followed by the low to high bids. There was a lot of problem with this quote. Our engineer left out several items. We were scrambling almost daily as these contractors were trying to put their quotes together, saying, well, you're gonna grade the ditch, aren't you gonna seed it back? The seeding was left out, sidewalk removal and replacement was left out, the length of the culvert was wrong, and the erosion stone that was called out was not available in this area. So we had to deal with all those issues. I just wanted to make a point of that as we move forward here. So it's probably almost a miracle that we got a quote back close to the engineer's estimate. But that is where we wound up, within a little over $1,000 off.
I'm not throwing stones here, but how does all that get missed?
Very good question. I agree. My phone was ringing off the hook from the contractors when they started filling out their quote.
Well, the better thing is thank God the contractors caught it.
Yeah. So we wound up with 4 revisions on the culvert. The sanitary one came out right, even, the engineer's estimate was below all quotes, but didn't appear that there was any omissions on that one. But that one was really quite straightforward. It would be hard to omit anything there. The only thing on that one that got pointed out was that it said full depth patch of that street, and one of the contractors pointed out, how do I know what full depth is? A lot of these city streets are from 5 inches deep, if they're old enough, to 12 inches deep, so what do I quote you for a concrete depth? without coring it. And it could vary from 5 inches to 8 inches in the stretch that we're tearing out. So they basically, I told them all to quote 7 inches of concrete. You know, even if it is 5, let's put 7 back in, just to get a uniform number. So, and one contractor just noticed today that even though they added back in the seating to do the ditch, they really didn't have anything specified to seat the ditch bank, to do the waterway, I should say. They added in the seating that they had omitted to seed the waterway after it was graded, but they really didn't have anything seated, any seating in place for the road ditch and the ditch bank. Which is not a big deal because that's a very small area, but again, yet another omission, so.
You have a recommendation here?
If, yeah, you guys voted to go ahead with this, I guess since it came in this close to the engineer's estimate, I do have a recommendation to go with Hanley Dirt Work Plus to replace the culvert on Roosevelt Street.
And when you were talking about the,
Do we have that? I don't know what's
On the backside of the engineer's quote.
Oh, I didn't flip that one.
you were talking about the 7-inch concrete, that's just where they're tearing out the pipe.
Yeah.
You're talking about, correct?
Yeah, where the strip where they're putting the new,
Main thoroughfare,
no,
Roosevelt.
No, this is, oh, no, the on Roosevelt, that was on sanitary. That, the full depth patch I was talking about was the sanitary sewer on Naylor Drive.
Okay. But
Sorry.
7 inches is good.
Right, no, they're putting in 4 inches of asphalt on Roosevelt.
Okay.
It will be up to us whenever this project goes forward, if we want to ask the asphalt company that they are contracting with, if we want to go farther. Obviously Roosevelt's not in good shape, another seal coat issue, but I couldn't see any point in doing any seal coating until this culvert is done. So that's why it was left out of the seal coat bid, but we would have the option of the asphalt company maybe extending that patch
Like the
farther.
whole distance.
Well, it'd be great, but I don't think we're gonna like that number.
No.
So that could be a possible additional charge when we get to that point, see how things are hanging up. But the worst part of Roosevelt is right where the culvert is, so at least we're gonna get that part fixed. So it's directly over top of the culvert.
And have we gotten the blessing from Rex on the waterway?
No, I wanted to see if we had quotes that came in before. John has talked with him, I've talked with John has talked with Rex, he does not think it's a problem. If you,
As long as
if you
we
wanna
have a gut
proceed with
feeling.
this, that will be the very next step to get that taken care of.
Thank you.
Get
Now,
all-
is it part of our engineer that draws out that easement then too? Is that part of their,
Yeah, I think.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do they do the surveying and draw out the easement and everything?
The survey's already done,
Okay.
yep, and yes, I believe the easement is part of their contract that we signed to do this. I will double check on that.
And you recommended him?
Yeah,
Has he done any street work for us,
no, he hasn't,
or culvert work?
no, he showed me some examples of work that he's done that's very similar, so. When we get to the Naylor Drive extension, he's also low bid on that as well. And he's shown me, his work in that scenario too, so I guess I'm not concerned about either of them. The only thing on the culvert replacement that could be tricky is they're calling out doing a lane at a time. Instead of closing the road, detouring it, they're talking about doing a lane at a time. If we get into the project and it appears that we need to close the road, that's gonna be a little complicated because we have a permit from the county to do it a lane at a time. We would have to quickly adjust that if we have to close the road, because at that point, the county still owns the south half and we own the north half, even though we don't maintain it as such. There's partial ownership there, so we have a permit from them, and it's one lane at a time.
How can you close a lane at a time and put it in?
None of the contractors were happy with that. Yes, it can be done.
Okay.
It's not recommended.
So
That doesn't make sense to
If-
me.
something would have to change, is there a possibility the county would allow that?
Oh, I'm sure they would. What we'd probably do is say, we're gonna attempt it at this point, but, is there any issue if we run into a roadblock and need to, what else can you do? Either that or we could ask them right now, let's do a full closure, 2 days worth of, all the contractors told me it'd probably take them 2 days to rip the old one out and get the new one set back in place and then have traffic going over it.
I think we should do that.
Okay.
I don't wanna, I mean, that, to me, that's just, I think we get a lot better job done.
Well, and then once the pipe is back in and I'm just visualizing it's just gonna be rocked, then they can pave one side at a time if needed.
Yeah, right, when the asphalt.
I wouldn't recommend it, but they can do it.
Yep. No problem, I can ask to make that change, that'll put a tick more on the engineering budget, cause they'll have to go back through part of the reasoning behind, the late MSA bill was there was 10.25 hours of correspondence listed on that bill, and so I decided I wasn't gonna put it in front of you until I find out what 10.25 hours of correspondence is, and he called and gave me the breakdown. It is dealing with the county, and unfortunately, a lot of those dollars were dealing with the stuff that he forgot.
Covering his own tracks.
Well, it is, yes. They broke it down, there's like 4 hours of dealing with the changes that were brought up as the project went along. So,
If they're not changes.
Changes
that's
are
not a-
overlooked.
oh yeah, the omissions.
Yeah, that's not a scope change, we didn't make any adjustments.
Yeah, and I'm just not thrilled. I think we need to visit the final bill. There will be a final bill for these projects. I think we need to visit that. I think the council needs to visit that, whether we're getting what we're paying for or not. I decided to present that bill to you today because it isn't the final, and so we have an opportunity to.
How long has MSA been the city's engineer?
Correct, so to speak.
I know it can be difficult to lose the history of a city engineer, and there's a certain amount of comfort level of keeping the same city engineer, but it's certainly the desire of the council if we wanted to seek new services, but then again, we deserve quality work. So, but maybe that's something you can look at the turn of the year.
MSA was here when I was first appointed to the council.
Originally.
Originally.
What year was that?
I don't know.
That's been a couple of decades ago. Now, wasn't,
Was,
some of the old street stuff
Was
was
Al
another engineer,
on there?
like Green or something, wasn't it?
were there concrete roads?
Oh, yeah. Well,
In 1974,
which
there was
time?
some, huh?
Which time? I've been on here more than once.
So we're glad to have you.
She was here when he was involved when Amber was here. If that give you an idea.
Well, it sounds like MSA's been around a while now.
Well, at least 10, 12 years.
I get it, mistakes happen, but
Amber's been gone for 10 years.
These weren't complicated projects.
usually we should
Well,
get billed for their mistakes.
They should make an
This is
adjustment.
also not part of my job.
Well, for this correction that we need tonight, you just need the approval for this.
Yeah, I mean, we can deal with MSA later, there will be another bill coming from them. to finish
So
the
your
project.
recommendation is for Hanley. Is there any other discussion for Guy on this, or any other questions?
Probably want to include that you want me to move forward with making it a full road closure, if you're gonna make a motion to accept his bid. And I don't think that will change his bid, it might actually make it easier. Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, it just might increase the engineering cost.
I know I've had Hanley do some work for me. Now, I didn't have any recalls replaced or anything like that. But he's a very conscientious person. And what he did for me, I feel like he did good work.
As long as he can handle it, I just didn't know he went this scale, so it was if you're
Yeah,
confident that he can
I'm
handle the
comfortable,
project.
yeah.
If I'm reading this right, it's the 40,916.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll need a motion for the approval of the 40,916 with the addition noted that we wish to amend it, the permit to the county for the full road closure.
So moved.
That motion by Saracen, seconded by Trump, I think.
Yes.
All right, is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, why don't you do that by roll too, just because of the dollar?
Okay, no problem. Counselor Trump,
Aye.
Counselor Sarahson,
Aye.
oh, Counselor Shantz.
I'll abstain.
Counselor Menson.
All right,
All right, let the record reflect.
Making sure we're awake or what?
Yes,
Holy
yes.
smokes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously, thank you all. All right, let's move on to then, item number D, the update on the Naylor Sewer Extension update, back to Public Works for this also.
Okay, basically same deal, the top one is the engineer's estimate, low is Jeremy Hanley. Now what do I do with my copy, did I leave myself out?
If I read it right, this is the 27,676?
Yes.
All right, yes, it's here in our package, you
Okay.
can have one of these copies if you want to. Is that your recommendation as well?
Yes, and there wasn't, like I said, with the exception of the concrete patch depth, but I think we're covered there, there was no problems with that bid.
Now, I know he's also doing the actual facility for the Diamond Club,
Mhm.
so I think it'd be good to have consistency there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I'm guessing that's maybe why his bid came in low, because he kind of considered it all one project as well, so.
There's no questions on that, we'll also need a motion for that approval.
So move.
Moved by Shantz,
second.
second by Trump. Dollar fee, I'm sorry, second by Shantz, sorry.
Nope.
No, back up.
Vincent,
Chester made the motion.
Motion by Shantz, who seconded it then?
Right.
Menson. Did you get that down?
aye.
All right. Okay, and that amount was 27,676. Hearing no other discussion on that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That is also done. Thank you, and thank you for correcting me on that. All right, we are now to item number E. We're almost there. The update on the fire station.
Letter E.
Okay, letter E. Here it is. The last time that we left this was approved in the last meeting for signing of the contract pending the legal review. The written legal review came in as well as the folks that are in this room that reviewed it. There were probably 12 items in that we wanted edited in that contract prior to signing it. I would say 4 of those were hard items that we weren't going to bend on, the rest were negotiable. Those negotiations took place earlier this week. The MGA, right? They were very accommodable, and we were able to get all of our items either struck out or amended as we desired. So the contract is very favorable. It was signed and it is ready to go. The original is here somewhere. Since it's about this thick, we didn't print copies for everyone. So if there is any other discussion from council tonight, or the chief, or anyone else, then I will send out the notifications with the group, the fire group, as well as the city representatives, the 2 council people. And we will go ahead and meet with MGA, and that will probably occur sometime next week or as soon as the schedules allow. That initial meeting will get the planning and the initial design and the timelines and things like that started. So I believe that's what you folks want for your, not only your fundraising campaign, but also for your initial design setup and things like that. I think we need it, so when we start working out there at the site, that we can get our signage up out there, as well as our information for our media release stuff, website, and Facebook. This will also start the official expenditure of funds out of our fire station project. So I've looked at that account. I know Chester has, and I'm sure all of you have at one time or another. The expenditure, not only this amendment as well that we're talking about next month, but the expenditure of those funds are going to reduce that account considerably. I've talked to the fire department as well about transferring your initial, doing the first transfer of fundraising. I know you have 2 different accounts, but the portion for the building itself, of transferring those funds over into the fire station fund with the city, so we can begin expending some of those funds. The township with their generous donation of $50,000 at the front and the end, we'll need to secure those as well. I'm working with Danielle on getting that put together for that. So fundraising will become an important part of this very quickly. As we've stated in the past, the city has other mechanisms of covering these costs if the fundraising doesn't go exactly as we planned, but those should be the very last items to do, which include city reserves and bonding. And we've already discussed this in some detail of doing the bonding portion of it, again, as a last item. So there it sits. But the project is starting, it's going. It's an 18-month process, and I hope to at least get a noticeable project that the public can see out there within the next 90 days or so.
I have one thing to add. I was asked today, we obviously haven't signed the contract with MSA for the utility portion of it. We'll have to get that completed too. Since they came as partners, we'll have to go that route and get that contract signed so they can start in on their survey too as soon as we move forward. So I think it's here. I think it's been presented to us. We just need to move forward as part of the project.
Perhaps a silly question. When you get all the plans figured and everything, will there be a number? What this is gonna cost? And the reason I ask that is I've had a little bit of feedback from the public about, I'm not gonna donate to something that you're gonna tell me costs, just rough number, 800,000. I think that's a high number. I need to see this on paper. That's why I'm asking.
Sure. In the initial meetings and that we had with them, based upon the size of the building, based upon the type of the building that it was, based upon the current cost of materials, the number that we discussed was around $650,000 with a 5% contingency on top of that. Now, until it's actually bid, we can't give anyone an exact number, so.
But once again, I've had feedback of, there's no way the building costs that much, but they do.
Yeah, well,
Well, there's also site preparation, all those other things.
Utilities,
besides
yes.
The building, it's easy to overlook a lot of those costs.
And we're not gonna build a
We're not the
junk building.
engineers.
Right.
well, there's other costs besides just the building structure itself. But I think the quickest we can get good numbers, the better off we're gonna be.
Absolutely. And we're,
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I personally feel the same way. We need a good solid number to know where we're going. And I don't know whether a 5% contingency, whether that's a good contingency or not.
right. I just,
I don't know that.
as we talk to the public or as we talk to folks or whatever, that was the number that was originally discussed with the group when we were talking to them. That's the number that I gave the media when we did the story. That's the number that I've been discussing with folks as we go out there. I can't commit to an exact number until we do it. It's no different than somebody trying to budget to build a new home or somebody trying to budget to buy a new car or anything like that. It's hard to say what things are going to cost in 12 months from now. So you
Seems
can,
like every project I try, it always ends up more than what I think it's going to.
right. We could get lucky and costs go down.
Doubtful.
Right, I understand. So, one other thing I would like to say, full transparency, my desire is to, with the old fire station, to see it dismantled and surface parking go in there, or not necessarily in that order on our expense, by the way, but the sale of that property and use those revenues to also offset costs of the new fire station. Just my opinion, I want to say it early so folks know what I'm thinking on that. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what we have to do with that site, but I'd like to get that out there for people to start thinking about or consider. So obviously that's down the road, but something to think about.
So at what point in the process do we engage maybe an open house, public forum type, for people to see the design? I would assume we do that before we go out for bid.
It's my understanding that this initial meeting is when you folks will lay out the design concept that you currently have. Based upon that design concept, the architects go to work to put it together, and that's when they develop their actual mock-ups, drawings, building design, they can give a more detailed budgetary proposal of what they think it's going to cost based upon light buildings and things like that. Not that they couldn't have done that before probably, but they're putting a lot of time and effort and energy and things like that, and of course they want their compensation for their time when they go into that. So obviously they wanted a contract in place, and they have that now. So I think we'll have that within, weeks of our initial meetings. So.
I think it's a good idea, but I also think when we do that, we ought to have the parking lot layout, what it's gonna cost to get their utilities there.
Kind of an itemized list.
Itemized list, I
Yeah.
think. And I realize there's stuff that we could probably do, like some of the landscape and stuff like that.
Right,
We could do,
we constructed the RFP, and go ahead, sir.
but we still ought to have some idea what it's gonna cost.
No, this is supposed to be a turnkey operation, basically.
It
at
is.
this point.
Yeah.
Our contractual costs take us up into the point where you drive your truck in the door. So it's start to finish. Also, we put in contractual language in both the RFP response and the contract that we have a certain amount of latitude on contractors to where, like you were talking about, the landscaping or dirt work and stuff like that. If we can do that organically, we do, to reduce costs. Or if it's folks that we can work with that want to volunteer or whatever it is, we're going to do what we can to keep those costs
And
down.
I think that we need to be careful if we've got somebody contracted to do something, we stay clear out of their way.
Sure.
Let them do it, because you start mixing free labor and contract together, you're gonna end up in a big mess.
Step on toes.
Right.
And they're gonna say, well, he did it.
We also will have an optional response, meaning option one, like you're talking about the parking lot and whatnot, option one is entry off the equivalent of Roosevelt, or option two, trying to get an entry off the backside of Willow there, just the initial part, or extending Willow out as an option three for full drive-through parking and so on. Now, as options increase costs, we're gonna have to look at that. I can't predict what fundraising is going to generate. Fundraising could generate enough funding that we could complete several items on the fire station. I don't know. We're just gonna have to look at that. If fundraising produces hundreds of thousands of dollars, we obviously can do more than if we are limited in our capabilities, so.
Which is why I think it's important to keep the public engaged and informed.
I agree. Chester brought up last month that we need to look at professional services for fundraising. I think that's an excellent idea, so. Other comments on this? Chief, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right, I've kept you here a couple hours. We're at 8:52 right now, so anything else from anyone? I know, time went fast while we were having fun here.
Got one
so-
more item.
We have item F, which is an update on the Board of Adjustment and Planning and Zoning. Have we had, I know Danielle's not here, she's probably talked to quite a bit of the public on this, but do we have, I know we got a commitment from people that are currently on from a
Jim
couple.
Carver
Yes.
is willing to stay on, he has no problem, and Brent Williams said he would be on whatever board we choose, so he would be new, so, yeah, I think Danielle might have a couple other names, quite possibly, but I don't.
I have not had an opportunity to talk to Dave Bosenberg again, but I know he was willing to help us out in whatever ways too, so I will follow up on that. Has anyone else had an opportunity to talk to anyone in your neighborhood?
I have several, I handed them to Danielle, so I know she has a list, but it sounds like something we can address next month.
Okay.
I think I told Danielle also, I think.
Yeah, she's got a spreadsheet going.
Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead and move to any final comments before we adjourn, Councilman Menson.
I'm good.
Joe?
Chester talked about engaging a fundraising organization, how do we get started on that? How's that process done, does anybody know?
I have not done it before. I assume there are organizations out there. Chester, do you know of any by name? But
Right offhand, what, we could have Danielle call Spear and ask them for some names, because they're the ones that told us to do it that way.
Okay,
okay.
And they're pretty cooperative, they always have been on everything else. So I'm sure they can give us. One of the things I can remember is that she said there's college students do that. I think she mentioned somebody grew from Cole College, maybe,
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
that did that.
Marketing department.
Right. She said that was one I could remember, but I don't remember any names or anything.
Were you talking to Maggie?
Yeah.
All right, would you make a note of that too, Guy? We'll talk to Maggie at Spear and try to get a few names for that.
I'm sure she'd give us some heads up on how to do that.
Okay. All righty, no other comments?
move we adjourn.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn from Councilman Trump.
Second.
Second by Councilman Menson. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you.